Huh? I said it. Took it. Crossing the line.
I can see it.
Good.
Carol, you ready?
Yes.
Okay. Folks, before we left, we ended the public portion. We're tabling this resolution to September 4th. We want to get a little more clarification on a lot of the good comments we heard tonight, as well as stuff from our planning board. So September 4th, we're going to be speaking about this again at the next meeting. It'll be noticed, but you won't get noticed as people in the 200 feet. Is that already happened?
We had the public hearing's closed, so all that's left to do on this ordinance is vote. And the mayor and council are taking the comments of the planning board and the public tonight under advisement. And if there's a motion to table it to the fourth, any final vote or other action will occur on the fourth.
I'll offer them to table to the 4th.
I'll second it.
Second by Mr. Redmond. That's a Jewish holiday, sorry.
Oh, that's the day of our meeting. If it is, I apologize, but that's scheduled from the beginning
Is
of
it
the
the
year.
fourth? I thought it was the sixth.
Second.
Second of Tuesday.
Second.
Meeting.
It's not that long.
Yes, it is. The first night of Jewish New Year, Rosh Hashanah. Starts on the 5th, but it's celebrated on the 5th.
Roll call.
I mean, it's a holiday. No, because it was the beginning of the year. Sure, please, I offered it, and Mr. Redmond seconded.
Ms. Ryan? Yes. Mr. Redmond?
Yeah.
Mr. Clancy?
Yes.
Ms. yes. Mayor Nolan?
Yes. We're going to skip down to other business, number 2. It's the 4th, baby. Now it's from the beginning of the year.
Actually, excuse me, Mayor, I'm so sorry. May I ask Mr. Kusula a question, please, regarding the noticing? Did you consider Ms. Stibble's comment, or rather not comment, but the reading from the release of the Land Use Act, that the original noticing was deficient?
I considered her comment, and I didn't see any problem. My understanding is that her question is
Yes.
that the notice didn't say Shadow Lawn, it referred to the MH district, there's only one MH district.
Yes.
And
But the municipal land use act requires that the lot and the lot and the property be named. I just bring it up because in the last attempt in ordinance 0707, the town requested a second notice because the first one was deemed deficient. Just sort of putting them on notice.
thanks.
Other business, we have an opening as an alternate number 2 at the planning board. If anybody would like to apply to that, you fill out a citizen participation form at Borough Hall. And we'll be appointing somebody on September 4th as alternate number 2. So if you live in county, basically you can apply.
Mayor, Mark, to the regular member
Correct, we had a resignation,
from the Cedars.
correct, and we thank her for her long service, she sat on the board a long time.
And then we're gonna move, Mr. Thornton alternate number C1.
Right.
Therefore, we have a vacancy, for alternate.
And it's important because a lot of times the alternates get involved with other people in conflict of appetite on property or involved sometimes professional people that come before the board. So it is actually an active position. Next one, replacement of damaged street.
Mayor, I could address that. We were approached by some property owners along the Baymen's Association line. There's a number of trees along the property line since the storm that have really died, for lack of a better word. And they're asking for some consideration if we would work with the Baymen's Association to see if trees could be replanted along that buffer that they believe was agreed to when the Baymen's Association and the plant went up in operation. So looking at the trees, this picture, I'm sorry, the copies don't do it justice.
I didn't know what that was.
What? I assure you, if you go down there and look, the trees certainly are, unfortunately, have all died along that property line. And the condominium owners alongside have asked if we would consider, again, working with the Baymen's Association and look into replacing those dead trees.
Anybody have any comments?
I think those trees are weed trees, locust, sumac, etc. They never planted per se. I will look at
All
it.
right, because
Yeah.
they believe they were planted for that reason, as a
I
buffer.
don't remember that.
Okay.
I
We'll
will
look
look
into
at the case and you and I will talk.
Very good.
Yep, thank you.
Review of proposals to administer house limits grants. Is that you, Mr. Hill?
Arcadis is here to
Guys, you want to come up and tell everybody who you are?
brief presentation.
So, file on the table.
How are you guys?
Good, how are you?
You want to do me a favor? Just turn around. Let everybody know who you guys are.
Okay.
Move it down.
My name is Tommy Horton. I'm with a company called Arcadis. This is Lee Wordsman, and we have been hired to assist with your. We are working for you right now on certain things. With the post-disaster Hurricane Sandy efforts and helping you with the FEMA claims. We just gave a proposal to assist with a mitigation grant that the town had received to elevate, I believe it was 8 homes, and managing that grant, ensuring the work is completed according to the FEMA guidelines, and maximizing what funding they can get out of that grant. That's what we proposed.
So you began your business from the Irene house.
That's correct, yes.
Okay. Anybody like to talk?
We had asked one question, and I told them we were standing outside. There were originally 13 homes involved. It's down to 8. And so it's, I don't know if the answer tonight, but if there's room to add another house or something, I don't know.
There are, the way the hazard mitigation grant program works, there are opportunities to expand those grants if there are additional costs that were, either the costs that were identified originally exceed what the original estimate was, or if there are additional costs, as long as they're eligible.
That's per
So,
house.
per house. Whether or not we can add another house is probably unlikely. However, there's a lot of opportunities to add additional houses to the upcoming grants that are available. Yeah.
Okay,
Thanks for
Thank you.
That's the primary residence.
Yes.
This is for our.
It's already done.
This is
Irene.
Irene. It's already been in the works. Carl, do you want to speak to it?
Sure. Sure. The Sandy Ground project is where Angels Play, the 26 playgrounds being built by the New Jersey Highlands Benevolent Association. One of the builds are going to be erected in Veterans Park. Daniel Barden is the family that has adopted Highlands. There's 20 children and 6 teachers, all of which were killed in the Newtown school shootings, and each family has adopted a site for those playgrounds. So there's going to be a benefit concert on September 8th at Steve Street parking lot to benefit the New Jersey Firemen's Benevolent Association in their endeavors to construct the playground. And monies raised will be earmarked, the amount that we need for the Highlands bill. And they'll also be making a donation to the Highlands First Aid and the Hope for Highlands Fund for the people that we have on the waiting list. So the concert's going to be Sunday, September 8th from 3 to 6 p.m. And I think they were just looking for, the town's blessing, support on the concert and tell everybody to come out.
Can we put on the
Any
website?
questions? Yeah.
Now, Carla, you put, I know you've had the meetings, I think, fire, everybody's kind of getting involved in that, so that's.
Yeah, Mr. Hill facilitated a meeting with the organization that's sponsoring the concert is Mr. Bob Small, Helping Highlands Survivors. I believe he's helped many residents here in Highlands. He also hosted the benefit concert we had at Count Basie, which allowed us to raise $27,000 to give out on the $1,000 material grants to the Hope for Highlands Committee. So he's graciously hosting the concert and any costs associated with the concert.
Okay. So you want us to start?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
You
to
want to have
come.
the objection with everything? Sound good? Thank you. Mr. Francis is going to speak to a resolution of support for a study being done in Rutgers.
I'd like the council to vote a resolution of support for the Rutgers Loustein School of Business. They're doing some work in the Highlands and Sayreville and Seabright for recovery efforts post-Sandy. They're doing work with the long-term recovery group as we speak. They're looking for just a piece of paper to take back to the lodge, grant people that Highlands is on board. So I'll work with the board, if the council approves, I'll work with Carolyn to address something tomorrow, and we can send it over. Get the Carolyn design or Tim design. It doesn't matter.
I think everybody approved of the design?
I'm in favor.
Okay. You don't need it.
Okay.
All in favor?
I'm in favor, aye.
You good, Carolyn?
Yes.
See you tomorrow.
Okay. Anything else on the other business, guys? Okay. Committee reports will dispense with.
I was kidding.
Oh, I don't know anymore.
No, I don't need to report. We don't have the library.
We're going to do public portion. Kelly Ward?
She left.
She left? Okay. Mr. Tardavino? Gone? Okay. Carol Hanky?
That's it's bedtime.
Kathy Eisner? Last name is Back, I think. 1 Scenic Drive. Ms. Dibble?
Yes, we're able 32 Paris Park. I wanted to know if there were any waterfront development applications that have been applied for.
Like to the planning board or zoning board?
When there's a waterfront development application goes before DEP, they have to provide a copy to Highlands.
Did you just come down and look at the files?
You just went through the files in town there or no?
I did recently, but I
You would actually
didn't
go
see any.
It was done there?
Right, no, there weren't any, but
There's no secret files.
There were a couple there.
there were a couple, yes.
And we reviewed them.
Yeah, there were mostly there was Washington Avenue, the repairing of the bulkhead, correct? You don't remember?
Is there any other ones? I mean, you looked at the file.
Well, okay, my question is there's a lot of things happening along the waterfront. A lot of clearing of land, clearing of trees. And I'm just wondering, when does storm cleanup become development? And when is they're allowed to do storm cleanup?
Who are we talking about specifically? Let's
I'm
get
talking,
to
there's lots of plots where there's a lot of.
like where specifically?
Well, along Shrewsbury Avenue, there's a lot of changes happening there. Where,
Like in people's private homes and stuff?
yeah,
Okay.
and if they're doing.
I know there's a lot of
water-
lifting there.
Right, if they're doing waterfront development, aren't they supposed to get waterfront development permits or have a review process through DEP?
I think that they're all lifting houses that were currently there, to my knowledge. I mean, there's a couple new there in the last couple of years.
I think, I live on 28 Shrewsbury, only if you're dealing with new construction, new bulkheads, if you're replacing anything that's damaged, you do not have to
It's covered by rule.
resubmit the DEP because it's already grandfathered in.
So they were damaged from Sandy Man and they're lifting now and fixing?
Oh, the lifting, yeah, they're mandated, they have to.
Yeah, no, I get
More
it.
than 50%. So they're not, the tearing of trees, I haven't noticed that for living on the block. But all the bulkheads are replacing exactly what was standing there that were broken and damaged by
With the same permit rule.
And the docks, yes.
Excuse me, can I get your back, please?
Barbara,
We don't even
but, I mean, I'm just giving you firsthand from living
But
there.
I think we have to.
So the answer is no. There are no, you looked at the files actually better than we did. So you looked at the files and know what's there. There is no secret drawer or anything else like that. Okay? I can't read the name, but it's 404, apartment 404 in
East Point,
East Point.
Hank Stover, does it say that? H-A-N-K?
Connie, is there a Connie?
There is a Connie.
I'm sorry. If you want to speak again, you can.
No,
This is-
yeah,
you wanna-
my comment goes to meeting minutes. I see agendas, but when I first discovered what was going on with respect to this ordinance, I looked for the various meetings that there were agendas where it was mentioned. I didn't find the minutes.
They were approved tonight, sir.
You see, that's part of the problem that was raised. I hope you appreciate the fact that many of us, we try to stay abreast of what's going on.
Sure.
But you're moving very quickly, especially on this ordinance. And so I come to a meeting, I haven't had a chance to even study the meeting minutes, okay? So that I can act intelligently here, and you tell me it's been approved tonight. So you're really moving too fast.
Well, now-
I'm eager to see your financial analysis is what I'm really getting at.
Mr. Stover, nothing's been approved tonight, and just to address the quickness, I heard that a lot today. That's not really a fair statement, because this was introduced on the 3rd. There was a subsequent meeting in July where it was not considered. Then it was considered more than, another month later in July, or in August, tonight. There was also an extension requested by the planning board, which was granted by this governing body. So all the accusations that this governing body rushed this through, and then they even tabled it tonight, are really unfounded and not fair.
I couldn't read anything. I saw agenda, I couldn't see anything.
I understand that.
So-
You have to approve it first, we vote to approve that.
The minutes don't contain an explanation of why the governing body does what it does on this ordinance or any ordinance.
Why?
Because it's not required, and that's not what occurs.
Well, maybe it's not required, but is that a wise thing to do based upon what we've heard tonight? Obviously, it's
I
not a
know I
wise thing.
represented hundreds of municipalities and public entities, and none do that. There is a recording of the meeting, you could get the audio recording.
I know I've done that in the past. That's 20 years.
Every meeting, you've been planning on recording.
Yeah, I know that. I've done that.
Okay. Okay. Pauline Jennings?
I would pass, but I just want to commend the board on actually paying attention to the community. I'm leaving this meeting feeling a lot better about my town. Thank you for deliberating a little longer.
We always try to do what's right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Pugh, Arnie?
Arnie Pugh, 50 Valley Street. In the past, as apparently the property maintenance, they've been writing some tickets, but can I talk to you later to get some docket numbers about this case?
Sure. I think I know what you're talking about. I don't think there's docket numbers yet, but I'm happy to talk to you. We're getting that information.
Okay.
Good? Okay.
And the other thing, where does it stand with the sale of the sewer department? Wasn't there mention of the town?
We dissolved the sewer authority because there's an overlap.
Yeah, I know, you dissolved it, but where?
But at sale, we haven't really spoken anything. I have been
Okay, so there's
really
no,
went nowhere then.
it just went nowhere, there is no.
We've had a goal of letting the sellers keep our own together with the sewer authority.
Right, but then it was like, well, we have this asset, we might sell it to raise funds.
We're always gonna, leave everything on the table. So
Okay, I didn't know, I just wanted to know
Yeah.
where it's going.
Now, if you go any further, we'll keep you up to date
Okay,
on that.
thank you very much.
Okay. 25 South Linden, Highlands. I can't read the name of it. That's right, right? Yeah. I don't see it. Craig Bars. Melissa?
Melissa McAleer, 52 Barbary. So I have a couple questions. Some of them actually relate back to the last council meeting where we had discussed a couple items. The first one is the employment of local employees. This is in particular concerning the employment of a building maintenance inspectors pursuant to R 13171, but I'm not exactly clear if this is the same exact position that was advertised in the Highlands website on the building inspector, where the instructions for the qualifications insisted that there would be no qualifications required. And I remember, Becky, you and I had discussed this. I specifically said, just because somebody lives here doesn't mean that they cannot have the qualifications required. And I was assured that they would need to have the appropriate qualifications. So part of what I'm trying to clarify is whether the building maintenance inspectors is actually the same position that was advertised. And if not, what is the status of the position that was advertised that called for no qualifications for a building inspector? And second, what are the qualifications of, and what was the qualification expectation and the actual qualifications of the two individuals that have been hired for the building maintenance inspectors?
I'll let Mr. Hill address that.
Okay, the building inspectors, as initially listed under the Workforce Development Program, was the title that was used. Workforce Development, in discussing with them, we made it very clear that what we wanted was folks that were going to be able to do visual assessments, not professional structural engineer folks. So they added the term no experience required because they wanted to open up the pool within the workforce development eligibles. So that definition of building inspector, for lack of a better, building maintenance inspector kind of follows a title more closely represented. It's not a qualification of needing professional certifications in that. So that's where we went with that. Just to make it clear, we're doing block by block assessments of the damaged areas with a basic checklist of sort of how are we doing. It's not to condemn properties, it's not to supersede any of the regulatory bodies. It's just a process that we think we still need to move forward with, and that's what that refers to.
Okay, and what exactly is the purpose of them just looking at the houses?
The purpose is, we've heard plenty of comments that some of the neighborhoods are still in need of some additional assessments on where people are at, how are we doing as a community, and what we can put forth to report back to the governing body on how we're moving forward. So it's another, we think it's a good tool, and the workforce development has given us that opportunity to do so.
Are they walking around with
They will be.
supervised, unsupervised? Do they report to anybody?
They're going to be under the construction official. Okay, they're not going to be walking hand in hand with the construction official.
Okay.
Okay?
All right, just wanted to clarify that, thank you. My second question is more around the resolution R13-167 vis-a-vis the loan.
Sorry, say that again, please.
R13-167, entitled Resolution Support of Highlands Business Partnership Application for a Business Loan. The last time we discussed this, the question came up of who is going to actually be responsible for repayment of this. And we were assured at that time that this was for the business and the business would be responsible for repayment. This is not actually what
That's
is
wrong, it's
listed
on
here.
And
Well,
I
Becky
did.
actually, I believe Becky said that.
I did, okay? And I said that it was business and I was mistaken. In the run-up to that application, I had been very much involved, and that's my indication of how it was going to be repaid. And then, as we were completing the application, that's when I got sick and I was in the hospital. And it was handed off to other people to do, and I just was not up to par to my total responsibility that I said that. But at the end of that meeting, we did say ultimately, Chris and I said that the town is ultimately responsible, and that is true.
Town's always ultimately responsible.
Right, but this is not actually what's written here. So I guess my question is, what is the status of this resolution? Is this something that has been passed today?
I'm just reading it. It is passed, yes.
Okay, so if it has been passed based on information that was, and I completely can appreciate, circumstances, but it has been passed with a different set of expectations and communications than what was communicated before. So I don't believe it needs, it can be passed at this time.
I think I disagree with the concept that it was clear that the town is paying the tax.
That was not made clear
Yes,
at all.
I checked it on the tape. At the end of the discussion, we both said, and Mrs. Francie reiterated, that the town is ultimately responsible.
You can't put $500,000 loan on the back of 40, 50.
And I do repeat that that was my mistake. Nobody else's fault, but then we did say at that meeting that ultimately, I think it was the exact word, ultimately the town is responsible.
I'm going to review the tape, but, all right, thank you.
Wait.
John?
I'm going to pass tonight, thank you.
Carol on Bayside Drive?
Yes, question, we've been anxiously awaiting paving Bayside Drive. There have been signs posted, et cetera, looks like might see action, and then nothing, it's been like well over a month and a half. Where are we?
Yeah, what was that? What was saying?
Basically, we met with the contractor several weeks ago, excuse me, and we ran into a material issue. There was a concern about the material underneath the roadway. So we had that material tested. It's got to be dealt with appropriately. Contractor is scheduled to resume over the next week or two. He's right now on another job. He's not going to wait, forever. But he's going to come back next week or two to restart that again. And hopefully, start to finish will be done. No more bumps in the road, for lack of a better term.
Carol Bucko?
I'm gonna say.
Okay.
Oh, come on.
Claudette, 12?
Pass, not pass.
Oh, just getting started. Carlos Afalo?
I was
She's not
gonna
passing.
pass,
All
but
of
now
my
I just would
people.
like to make a comment on Melissa's comment.
Set the timer.
Because I'd like to correct
Do
the
we have to
record
hear for that?
to say, when you say it's for the business people, it's for a pipe from the highway, Chris could probably explain it better than I can, down through the creek, out through the river to cure the flooding for the town, which is all of us, residents and businesses.
We all get that, Carl. It's just a mistake
And
on
I
somebody.
would totally appreciate it, but then we should be
You
involved
said
in
it was
making
for
the
the businesses.
decision, right? Because we're ultimately going to be responsible.
We all are, yes.
I would have liked to make
I would
a
tell you,
decision.
moving forward, even if it was the case and the business improvement district took out the loan in the end, if they default to pay it.
Right.
But also, it's dependent upon
It could.
voting.
Nope.
It would have been voted at the table.
Carolyn at 12 Mill Street?
I'll let it go.
Okay. That's good. Okay.
I I'm going to abstain my questions, but I'd like to offer, if you wish, an update on the sewer authority. We had
Sure, that'd be
a
great.
really big milestone on
Update on the sewer authority for Ken.
Monday at 4 o'clock.
Yes, I was there.
Monday
What
at 4
happened, the
o'clock.
pipe broke?
No,
Did not-
it did not break, and everything went just as planned. It may not be common knowledge, but we have installed a new pressure main. Our old pressure main was very old, and we've had a number of breaks, and that's what carries our sewage to down the highway and to Atlantic Highlands, where it is then pumped to Middletown to be processed. We wanted to get Atlantic Highlands out of the middle and send it directly to the Middletown system. So there's now a brand new pipe that goes down Navesink Avenue by the Stone Church, which we've seen the construction, and it turns the corner and goes down to Sears Avenue, and it is then dumped into a Middletown gravity line. And they turned it on Monday, 4 o'clock Monday, and it worked. I went down to the far end and I watched the beginning of the Clemens to flow, and it was all.
We are starting to reap the benefits already because the power required from our
Yes, it takes much less head pressure because most of the line is gravity. It only has to go up to CBS line point. So this is a good thing. It was,
What are we looking at as far as capacity and cost moving forward?
well,
we've had these meetings about this.
Oh,
yeah, we have a meeting Thursday night.
Bring you boxes.
So.
This Thursday? All right, thank you, Ken. Rachel Stockton, Rachel left. Hank, at East Point? Hank? Hank's gone. Gert, 63 Caesar? Motion to close?
Done.
Aye.